Hello, my name is Jan, and this is
I'm Niclas, and we are from the band Eternal, The Eternal.
The Eternal. It's been nice. Thanks for coming, and it's been exciting. First time pre-listening for people, and it's been sort of nerve-wracking to see what everybody thinks because we put a lot of effort and a lot of heart and soul to this record. So it's finally about to be out. So it's exciting.
I think first time I heard about them was they opened when I was still in Amorphis. They opened in Australia when we did a tour there, and then met Mark in Japan sometime, and then he came to Finland, and then
yeah, we share like a history, and we've been friends, and hanging around in certain occasions, and plus the tour that Niclas mentioned in Australia, and but then he just contacted me because the drummer left the band, and they were writing this new record, and he just wanted me to play the drums, and to begin with, I was supposed to just do the drums and like as a session player, and but things got evolving, and all of a sudden we were producing and mixing the whole thing together and composing new songs and everything. So it's been a fantastic journey, and so that's kind of how it came to be, and so now we are actually 4 members of the band. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, and when did you end up joining?
Me, it was I think 2021 when I got the call if I would like to play. And I wasn't sure back then if I was going to join the band or not. I was just, okay, I will play the album and let's see what happens. But here we are now. The songs were pretty much recorded, like the drums and a lot of stuff was recorded already when I got it. So I could do there was some parts that I came up with something different, but mostly it was written.
Yeah, but I think you left your fingerprint on the
Yeah, of
record
course.
anyway.
Yeah, that's my fingers. But
your fingers right there.
But I mean, there was songs were ready. I didn't, participate in the writing of the actual song. Like on the new stuff, I had some riffs.
It's been nice, we've been. I think we played like 17, 18 years or something together. So like, musically it's nice to have a familiar, partner in the rhythm section because it's so much easier. Even though we never played it like in a real world situation. I mean, Niclas was recording bass in his place, and I recorded drums here. So, but that's how the studio production is. But like when we are going to take this thing on stage, I think it's fantastic to have like a familiar player that I will actually know what it's gonna do and stuff like that. So, and vice versa, I guess.
Yeah, it feels quite familiar, Also recording wise, kind of easy to get in the groove.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, were you working a lot together for the recording part, or was
we
it?
actually did it quite separately. You had done your drums already, and I think that was 6 months before I got the call. And then I was, I think probably you were on tour. I was 1 month by myself. This was COVID times, yeah.
It was the COVID times.
Yeah, so I was 1 month by myself and tried to figure it out. And
it was kind of funny because we were actually in the same city at the same time when you were recording, but we didn't meet up at even once. I just heard the bass and I was like, all right, that's good, It's kind of hard to say, in some ways we get along so well, and the humor and the overall mentality seems to be somewhat in the same level regardless of where we are from. So I mean, people are universal in that sense. So I kind of personally don't see that much cultural differences, but obviously, like I think maybe musically, like what Mark said, that they were not used to like things like we've been proposing, and key changes and percussion and different rhythms. So maybe we from our experience in the past, we've been lucky and enough to be able to work with different people and different kind of music and different like influences. So we can bring that to the package. But I don't know if that's a cultural difference. It's maybe like a musical difference most of the time, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think also the thing is, which is cool because now we have like Mark is a native English speaker, and I think he's like tremendous lyricist. I think he writes excellent lyrics,
Exactly.
and that would have been probably very hard for us to produce with a Finnish guy lyrics that are that high standard that what he's coming up with.
That's a very good point. I really agree totally, because especially now when we are writing the new songs and we've all been involved in the writing process, and you know, when you come up with a song and you make vocal melodies and you actually having a person who's delivering like amazing vocals in just no time, and it sounds like real in a way, because in Finland we have the accent, and you know, we have to really struggle to sound somewhat English, you know. So in that sense, I really agree. It's amazing to have a native English person, so to speak. Well, lyrically, it's hard for me to actually comment because that's all coming from Mark's head. But they are very emotional, very dark, very deep lyrics that he's writing, and they all come from his like personal experience, and you know, and of course all sorts of other influence. But they really do complement the music in a very interesting and unique way, to my opinion.
I think very clever
Exactly.
lyrics.
Yeah. Is it so that he writes lyrics before, or does he write some after the tracks are already ready?
I think both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you bounce off ideas from his lyrics and
Yeah,
talk
But
about
usually I haven't heard the lyrics before they are on something, but maybe he has them ready in his head when he gets something that fits, or I don't know, maybe he writes, but he's very fast that they could send him something and 2 weeks later he has everything ready.
Yeah, it's working fast, but I think it to my experience, it goes both ways, because you know, if you're making a song or working on a song, and if you write lyrics, that might inspire you to compose music, and vice versa. So a piece of music might inspire you to, and it will trigger some feelings in you to write some sort of lyrics. So I think both ways. Well, he was mainly, I think, like co-writing lyrics, and also like working on some vocal melodies for the chorus and stuff. And I've known Jani for a long time, and we've been working together on some things. And we just wanted something, an additional writer for that song to actually really make it count, you know, as a different sort of vibe from the rest of the material. Is pretty heavy and pretty dark and very doomy and stuff. So we wanted to have something more maybe easily approachable. So Jani is actually very talented of doing things like that. So he's an amazing producer and an amazing songwriter. So I'm really excited we had him on board. So that was kind of my idea to begin with when I was recording the drums, and we were working with 7 tracks at the time. And I was kind of feeling that the next single, When the Fire Dies, was the only one from that bunch, but actually, you know, could play on the radio, could be like, you know, easier to approach, because other ones are pretty proggy and pretty long and pretty heavy and kind of exhausting in a way. So I kind of felt that we need one more track that is somewhat kind of, you know, that represents the band's sound and like what the band is all about, but also in a sort of more simplified way. We're pretty happy with the feedback so far, and I think the video had like 125,000 views in less than a month, so I think it's pretty good for a new start for a quite unknown band. So I think it's pretty decent, to say the least. We had some sort of MIDI composed, like a Hammond sort of like an just chords, but the song is like a triplet feel, like, you know, and we felt it needs to have this sort of Deep Purple vibe, like a triplet rhythmical organ. And well, I just happen to know that Santeri can deliver things like that really fast, so of course I had to ask him to. And I think I had the tracks back next day, so it didn't take him too long. So I just thought, like, do your thing and make sure it's rhythmical. So yeah. Albert Kuvetsin, he is like a world music sort of a star from the world music scene, and his band Yatka is like these throat singers from from Tuva, which is like an independent sort of state, or at least used to be inside Russia. And we used him with Amorphis with on the track called The Bee on a Queen of Time record. And it's my father's family friend who actually introduced me to Albert, and because I was asking like, we need a throat singer, do you know anybody? And it just happened to know the best guy on the planet, so it was very very nice to have him on board. And yeah, then there's several other ones, like Sami is playing sitar on Temptations Door, and but he was just the only one I know who can play the sitar. You know, we can have some other guy, but he's my all-time friend, and all these collaborations are sort of based on long time friendship and things like that. So it's kind of easy to.
I think it is, because if it wasn't, then I think everybody would come up with something else to do. Because as Mark also said, he's been doing, if he was doing it for the money, he would have quit the band 10 years ago. So it's just for the passion of music, and to do it with people you like to play with.
Yeah, it's absolutely important. I mean, like doing things like this for years and years, it is important that you actually enjoy the company and the collaboration, and the fact that you are open to share your ideas without fears, and and that's what friendship is all about. And everybody's like, contributing, and I think it brings some very important things to the package. Being friends and like sort of sharing the same philosophy in life and music in general.
Yeah, Mark has been very open to our ideas also. It could have been like a singer of a band is my band, I do everything.
Yeah,
exactly.
But everybody can throw in ideas.
Yeah, he seemed to be very grateful that you're also pulling him a bit maybe out of his comfort zone, if that is the right word. Do you feel like you get to experiment a lot with the band as well?
Yeah, I think everybody has to be thrown out of their comfort zone every once in a while. So
I mean, if you're not willing to get out of a comfort zone, nothing exciting will ever happen. I mean, we need to have that curiosity and this sort of adventurous mind to go somewhere and try things, and because you can always go back, and there's like nothing dangerous can come. There's only good things mostly come out of that sort of mindset anyway. Music will always speak for itself, and writing starting writing something will always take you somewhere, and like in that sense, I think whatever styles of music will actually go hand in hand if you just have the courage to experiment. And in a way, I think it was kind of hardest one, because that's very simplified track with like very minor musical things happening in a way, except of course for some sound wise and the throat singing and the production in general. But it, just to keep things very straight on and very simple is sometimes actually quite challenging too. It is difficult. I mean, of course, but you have to. I mean, I think we have that much experience working with other producers that I've actually learned from over time. Is to really know when to stop tweaking things, or taking breaks or whatever, or having an alternative opinion or whatever. So it is kind of challenging, and sometimes you need to go back in time a little bit to adjust things. But in general, I don't know, that's just what we enjoy doing so much, and it just brings sort of an extra, like it adds something extra to the whole thing. We're not just a band rehearsing or making or composing music, but we're also producing it and thinking about it, like how can we achieve something that we is bringing in our heads at all times, and that's kind of fascinating to me.
Yeah, I think it's the whole album is like a journey from beginning to the end, and it's if you listen to all classical pieces of music, there's sections and but it's still a piece.
Yeah, exactly, and I think like I'm coming from the times of records and albums, so I used to listen to the records like 100 times over, like Iron Maiden, Power Slave or whatever. I heard that like I don't know how many thousand times, and I was watching the album and reading the lyrics and all the details and everything. So that's like it's kind of printed in my and our DNA in a way, so to make like an albums and like the whole packages that makes like you say, like a story or
It's
a
also
journey. Yeah.
kind of more layered experience, because when you hear it the first time, you maybe, oh, this song is good, but then after listening to one a bit more, then you switch your, that one is the one, and you know.
But yeah, but like in general, I really enjoy albums and you know, a little bit more like progressive music and approach to like and a lot of that thing come, as I said, very well, I think, from classical music world and sort of like having this sort of worlds of music in one like piece, you know. I think a lot of diversity, to be honest, because the previous records are pretty simplified in some ways rhythmically. So I think we managed to bring maybe like rhythmical diversity and like not perhaps anything too complex and sometimes even more simplified, but diversity and you know, like a world of sound of percussive instruments. There's also like lots of percussion and additional toms and cinematic things and like, so that's also what I like to do, is not do only drums but also add like other percussive elements to it and like emphasize that rhythmical sort of context.
Yeah. What about the bass?
Well, it was pretty straightforward. Just plug the cable and play. But of course, I mean, I listen to a lot of what the drums are doing in a way that sometimes maybe some people would play with the guitar more, but I play more with the drums. I just try to stay in the right key.
Yeah, that
That
seems
might
important.
sometimes be very challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that's probably because also comes from the world that we're actually very experienced to play together, and we kind of know what to expect from one another, like rhythmically, and to lay down the sort of the basic tracks for the melody and for the rest of the music.
Actually, I'm surprised how loud it is in the mix.
Yeah, it is
On
quite
a
loud.
lot of albums, you can hardly hear the bass.
Yeah, I think bass is the most important instrument.
Yeah.
That has to be planned, of course, when there will be a pause for, because I mean there will be plans for the next record for Amorphis, and during that production of that record we are most likely not gonna tour, so that's a perfect time to plan something for this, and we want to take this on stage, and we want to, you know, make it happen. So I would say somewhere next year, you know, more or less. Well, you know, support musicians, buy records, go see the shows, and you know, listen to the albums.
Yeah, follow and subscribe to all our channels, and
Exactly.
hope you enjoy the music.
Enjoy.